Countries around the world evoke different emotions within each of us. People often seek a connection to the countries they desire to visit and wish to develop a sense of sympathy towards them. The source of this sympathy may be related to economic prosperity for some, a lifestyle connection for others, or perhaps their excellence in an area that interests you, like football. Almost everyone has a deep affection for countries like Argentina and Brazil, despite not having extensive knowledge about them or even having never lived there. This affection is primarily due to these South American countries making significant impacts in the world of sports, especially in football. Argentina, for instance, is exactly one of these countries. Now, let's delve into the lives of the people in Argentina, a place where the heart of football beats. Let's discuss their daily challenges and the way they live. First and foremost, when you think of Argentina, you should picture a vast expanse of land. When you look at the country on a world map, it may seem tall and slim. However, compared to European countries, it's genuinely enormous. Argentina covers a massive 2,780,000 square kilometers of land. But Argentina is not the largest country in South America. Brazil has a land area of 8.5 million square kilometers, approximately 3 times the size of Argentina. Within this vast area, only 45 million people call Argentina home. This low population density, especially considering the size of the land, is something to note. Argentina shares borders with Chile to the west, Bolivia and Paraguay to the north, Brazil and Uruguay to east. The country operates under a presidential system within a federal republic. This means it isn't governed solely by the words of one individual. The capital city of the country is Buenos Aires, one of the most popular and frequently mentioned cities in Argentina. If you wish to explore Argentina, you can easily find flights from all over the world to Argentina. However, most of these flights involve layovers. This means that airlines typically gather passengers from various parts of the world and then drop you all off in Argentina simultaneously. The good news is that Argentina doesn't require visas for travelers from many countries. Now, when we delve into the details of life in the country, it's important to note that there is no distinct Argentine language spoken in Argentina. Spanish is the official language of Argentina. While the middle-aged and older population hardly knows English, it is more commonly spoken by the younger generation. The reason for the prevalence of Spanish in the country is, of course, rooted in Spain's history of having a profit-focused economic system during its colonization. During those years, the first colonies were established in Argentina, initiating a long period of exploitation that lasted until the 1800s. Over time, even their own populations were transported to these lands. As a result, the Spanish language became deeply ingrained in the fabric of this country, and language assimilation took place. In 1976, Argentina found itself in a dispute with the British. Both Argentina and the UK claimed rights over the nearby Falkland Islands. In the war that followed, Argentina suffered significant losses and was defeated by the British. As a result, despite more than 40 years having passed since the war, the people of Argentina have not given up their claim on the Falkland Islands. They consider the British to be occupying their own lands and have turned this into a national struggle. While the British claim to be the first to discover the Falkland Islands, Argentina maintains that these islands were inherited from the Spanish. However, if you were to visit the Falkland Islands today and observe the local population, all 3,000 islanders consider themselves British and support the UK. The sustainability of life on the island is, in fact, maintained with financial support from the UK. I've provided a detailed account of the Falkland issue to suggest that if you ever find yourself in Argentina, it's best to avoid discussing the Falklands. People become uneasy and agitated when this issue comes up. Especially, never exhibit behaviors that praise the UK in Argentina, or at the very least, avoid walking around in a UK jersey. On the other hand, Argentina has bigger problems. The country has been plagued by never-ending political instability and economic issues for years, reducing people's prosperity and their quality of life. Inflation has long surpassed double digits and at times even exceeds 100%. This means that the purchasing power of the population is decreasing day by day, and the value of their money is nearly non-existent. You can think of the average adult salary in the country as around $500. So, if you have a supplementary income of approximately $1,000 per month and you wish to move to Argentina, you can live very comfortably there. my friends. People are managing to get by with even $300. If you wonder how they can do this well, except for the capital city, rents and bills in many parts of the country are at very reasonable levels compared to global standards. For instance, if you want to rent a one-bedroom apartment in Mar del Plata, a coastal city in Argentina, you'll find the average rent to be around $150. If you plan to live alone, you can even rent a studio apartment for as low as $100. The total cost for your electricity, water, gas, and internet bills will vary between $50 and $60 at the most. Of course, if you have a larger family, expenses increase accordingly. The monthly grocery shopping for a two-person household typically ranges from $70 to $80. At least there's a balance in the country. So, if people earn $400, the rent for their house doesn't become $400. In contrast, when you look at economically struggling countries around the world today, you find people earning the minimum wage and yet having to pay more than the minimum wage for rent. It seems that the Argentine government, although unable to find a permanent solution to inflation, has managed to adjust living costs according to people's incomes. Nevertheless, the government continues to print money constantly, and this crisis doesn't seem to end. People try to convert their pesos into dollars as much as possible and save. That's because the dollar never loses against the peso and provides a sense of security to the Argentine people. For example, if someone who wants to buy a house saves in pesos, they can never afford the house they want because the peso's value is constantly increasing. However, if they save in dollars, the house's price remains the same. So if a house costs $100,000 today, it will continue to be $100,000 10 years from now. Therefore, life is tough for the average person in Argentina. The country has high unemployment, and purchasing power is equally low. Politicians can't solve these problems, which leaves the people unhappy. This increasing unhappiness among the people further fuels chaos and rising crime rates in the country. Even in the capital, Buenos Aires, there are dozens of dangerous neighborhoods where nobody dares to enter. The economic instability in the country, combined with its geographical remoteness, makes Argentina far from being a preferred destination. That's why Argentina is not chosen by the global community for either tourism or permanent living. In fact, not only does Argentina not receive immigration from abroad, but its own citizens also leave the country when they succeed in any field. The football sector is one of the most vivid examples of this. From a young age, the biggest dream of the kids in this country is to become a footballer like Messi, Maradona, and dozens of other great Argentine stars, and achieve a rich life in Europe. This situation also applies to Brazilian kids, because the country has really weak job sectors compared to the modern world. The country's general economy relies on agriculture and agriculture-based industries. They can't produce and sell any technology to the outside world. They don't have any globally recognizable major brands of their own. Thus, the country's production line is very weak, and almost everything related to the modern world comes ready-made from abroad. The foreign currencies in the country are constantly going out, and there is no foreign currency coming into the country, which continuously raises inflation and drags the Argentine peso's value even lower. Actually, Argentina is a country of extreme contradictions. Despite having so much inflation and economic problems, even a picture of a country where crime rates are high and there are hungry people everywhere. You can think, is there a crisis here? When you enter the nightlife of the capital, because these people never give up having fun, and they never compromise on the pleasure of living, no matter how much of a crisis they are in. The streets of Buenos Aires are overflowing with hundreds of people in front of the venues. When you look at people's faces, their attire, or their tables, you can clearly see that they never hold back from having fun and enjoying life. If you have money, just like anywhere in the world, you can easily draw people's attention in Argentina. Especially, women here really love to have fun, and there are thousands of men coming from abroad to meet Argentine women. That's why Argentine people take extra care of themselves and are always warm. From here, one can make the deduction that Argentina is a country that's all about consumption. People make ends meet. They barely make it through the end of the month, but they never hold back from having fun, spending, and consuming. Particularly, the young generation in the country lives life on a daily basis, focusing on savoring the moment. As for their character, they are quite friendly. For example, it's pretty hard to come across direct racist words or actions here, unlike in Europe. On the contrary, they want to get to know you better. They have a bit of a sensitive and somewhat spoiled side. For example, they can make fun of both themselves and your appearance, turning it into entertainment. When you come across these kinds of jokes, they expect you to laugh it off. If you have a tough and serious disposition and can't take a joke, you might not find the Argentinian atmosphere too pleasant. Moreover, same-sex marriage has been legal in the country for more than 10 years. In nightclubs, on the street, or out and about, you can see intimate people of the same sex side by side. You can also frequently see people of the opposite sex hugging and kissing. Although most of them have embraced Christianity, they are mostly open-minded, and they don't shape their lives around religious rules. In other words, society determines its own moral rules, and they have a free mindset. If you want to leave the country's economic problems aside and enjoy Argentina, I'm sure the capital, Buenos Aires, will truly impress you, because Argentina, unlike other South American countries, doesn't have a very chaotic, complex, and disorderly urban structure. In fact, the architecture in their big cities is reminiscent of Europe, especially countries like Italy and Spain. The streets and roads are extremely clean, and the architectural designs of the buildings exude an artistic feel. When you go there, you feel an ambience as if you've gone to a European country rather than a South American one. The service and ambience in restaurants and markets give you the feeling of a developed country. The food they eat is generally European style, including pizza, pasta, and pork. They are among the world's top consumers of beef, especially grilled beef. You can see their general culture and cleanliness even from the care they show on their streets. Let's not forget to talk about Argentina and tango. I must say that Argentina is the pinnacle of Latin dances. In particular, the tango dance is a highly noble and glamorous art form originating from this region. During your stay there, you might come across people who dance frequently. In summary, Argentina is a country known for its success in football and its dances. However, it can't seem to escape the economic crisis. Living in Argentina only makes sense if you earn in dollars. Otherwise, you might have to live a life of poverty, earning in pesos. If you can find a job that pays in dollars, you can enjoy all the benefits of the modern world in the clean, green cities that are no different from Europe. And you can open a new chapter in your life with the warm people you meet there. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.